How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing great, thanks. You look so beautiful.
Talking. So, I'm sorry, before I begin, I just want to ask, what does your name mean and how do you pronounce it? I don't want to mispronounce
Okay,
it. I want to get the
that's
pronunciation.
okay. My name is pronounced Ro Ne Pui. So it
Ro-
means Ro means treasure and Ne Pui means keeping it safe. So that means that I am a treasure and my family, it was actually, given to me by my grandfather. So it means that my grandparents and then my parents, my family are keeping the treasure of God safe.
That's so beautiful. Thank you for sharing with us. So, I think the Miss Universe India competition is just a few days away. How are you feeling about it? Are you excited? Are you nervous?
Well, I'm very excited. I have been thinking about it. I'm very excited to meet the contestants, to have the prelims and the finale. And yeah, I'm so excited. The nervousness that I have, the little nervousness that I have, is covered by my excitement. So I'm really looking forward to it.
So great. That's so good to hear. What about at the state levels? How was it competing at the state level for Miss Universe Mizoram?
Well, before my state competition, before my state audition, I suffered a broken bone and I was debating over whether I could participate or not. But what I always believed in is that if there is a will, there is a way. So I tried the best that I can. I did not wear any type of heels for 2.5 months before the competition, and I trained my mental to be strong. I trained physically to be strong, and I did the best that I could. And yeah, and here I am.
That's remarkable. That's so inspiring.
Thank you.
That's great. You win Miss Universe Mizoram after having a serious foot injury. I think that's commendable.
Thank you so much.
What did your preparations include during this and the preparations? What are your preparations like right now for the national pageant?
Well, it is very hectic. One day I will shoot 4 or 5 shootings. I will do 4 or 5 shootings, and it would sometimes be like 12 hours straight, and I would feel like a professional model. And the other times I have to rush to my skincare partner, and then my hair partner, and then the next day I have to rush to the camp that I volunteered and teach the children there. So I learned a lot from this journey, from this experience, and I can't wait to, impart it to the contestants that I will hopefully crown next year.
Yeah, hopefully. Keeping my fingers crossed.
Yes, fingers crossed.
And what's the segment that you're most excited about at the Miss Universe India?
I'm very excited about almost all of the segments, but if I have to choose one, it would be the national costume, because by national costume it is designed by one of the best designer in Mizoram, Malui Pearl, and she and her team has been working a lot. They has put a lot of money and time and energy into this. So hopefully I could represent and wear it with the with everything that I got.
I completely agree with you on that because I feel like the national costume for any pageant is the one segment where you can very prominently show your diversity and your culture. And Vietnam has such a culture. I think we will all be so excited to showcase
Yes,
it.
it's actually about my one of our folk tales from my state. So I'm so happy to be wearing it, and hopefully I'll do great.
Of course, you'll do great. You worked so hard for it. And like you were saying that everything has been very busy for you. You have to shoot 4 to 5 hours. You also have to volunteer. So how do you balance everything, and how does your mental health come into it? How are you making sure that mentally you're doing okay, you aren't stressing, you aren't anxious? How do you make sure of that?
Well, mental health is something very important, especially in pageantry, since amongst all the chaotic and messy experiences that has been happening, we have to keep our mind healthy. So I every day I practice gratitude. I wrote down a journal about all the things that I'm grateful about, and I also plan my to-do list for the day, sometimes when I wake up and sometimes before I went to bed, so that I would be prepared mentally for what's coming on the next day.
I think that's such a good practice to follow, because if you know what you have to do and you plan it beforehand, then you end up making time for everything without having to get stressed or worried about it. I think that's a great practice.
Yes.
How do you feel, how are you feeling that you'll be able to represent your state at such a huge national platform? What are you planning to bring? How are you planning to bring your state into the competition and showcase your state and your culture?
Well, that's a really good question. Well, coming from a community where we are still very close knit, whenever there are hardships that the people in our locality face, whether that be the demise of a family member, or whether we have some types of celebrations that someone from our locality got, we always be there, sometimes to console them and sometimes to celebrate with them. So I would bring that to the Miss Universe stage by by being there for others, by being a light and a beacon of hope, and just helping those around me. It's like how my community is always for me and with me. I will be a hope, and I will be a comfort to others, especially those who are struggling uh, on that competition.
Spoken like the true Miss Universe contestant, and I genuinely think that sisterhood and pageantry, that is what they stand for, and I think you've just come out very well and said it to us.
Thank you.
And how do you stay motivated when you're faced with challenges? Because we all have bad phases and good phases in our life. So when you go through the low phases in your life, how do you stay motivated? What motivates you to keep going and not giving up?
That's a great question. I have had my fair share of struggles and failures, and what motivates me is that I have to leave a legacy. I have to leave a legacy for those who will go after me, and I have to leave a legacy for my family, for my state, for my country. So even when I felt low and the burden is on my shoulder, I cry. I believe that we have to feel it. I believe that we should not repress what we feel. So I sometimes cry and I sleep, but then the next morning I wake up and remind myself that you can do this. You are strong. You have all those capabilities and abilities inside you if you just keep moving on, and bad days won't last forever. So I remind myself that, and then I keep moving on, letting the past be in the past.
You know, the reason that I'm smiling this big while hearing you this answer is because you replied so honestly. It's so important for us to not burden our emotions and express what we feel, because like we feel happy, but also that we feel sad and we feel low. And I think
Yes.
that's okay. It's okay to process and that, and to affirm and to motivate that we're going to move forward from it. So thank you for saying that. So honest about it. Also, what is the core value and or principle that you live by?
The core value and principle. um well, that's a very thought-provoking question. Mm, the principle that I live by is if you are determined, and if you try your best, once you lay your hands on something, there is nothing limiting you, and you can always achieve what you want. So with that belief in your capabilities, I always move forward in any circumstances or struggles that I have faced so far, and that has kept me going on.
Always focusing more on the journey than the outcome. I think that's great. That's great.
Thank you.
And every passion girl has advocacy that they work towards. Every passion winner has advocacy that they work towards. So, as Miss Universe Mizoram, what's an advocacy or what's a social cause that you strongly work towards?
Coming from a small town and coming from a place where I had been living for 18 years, and I had to move out of that home where I lived for 18 years due to the demise of my mother. She was a doctor, and we lived in a doctor's quarter, and then we had to move out, and then we have to change the place where we live. We have to move to another city, and that really, I really struggled with a sense of belonging, and that is why my advocacy is about the displaced people that has sought shelter in Mizoram. So I went to the camp where the displaced people are living, and I teach children. Education is something that I hold very close to my heart, and I teach them, and I want to inspire them to dream big and to have hope for the future amongst all the hardships and circumstances that they have faced. So yes, I hope that I keep on being an inspiration to those around me.
Kudos for that. I think that advocacy is also very rare one. I don't see a lot of people working towards refugees or displaced, homeless people who have not who've been displaced from their homes due to reasons that don't hold up. And I think it's great that you're working towards it. It's amazing, especially because you have a personal connection to the case. That's
Yes.
beautiful. Who would you say is your biggest influence in life, and how have they influenced you?
My biggest influence was my mother, is my mother, and um, as I said before, she's a doctor, and she gave her life to others selflessly, and that inspired me to give all that I've got and use the resources that I have so that I could shine and be a light to others around me. And so that, through my actions and through helping others, I could be, if I could change at least one person's life in my lifetime, then yes, that is my goal, and that is what I am working towards through my advocacy, through my everyday life, and yeah, that's it.
So thank you so much for sharing that with us. Thank you. And what do you think would be a major issue that our generation is facing? And according to you, what would be a solution to that issue?
I think the major issue that our generation is facing is instant gratification. Because we when we get bored, we don't have time, to reflect upon ourselves or to be creative and innovative. We right away look at our phones and our social media, and when suppose someone's hungry, instead of cooking a healthy food, um, they might go to the shop nearby and buy junk foods. So I think in terms of success too, we want, easy money, the easiest road to success, but we must remember that um, real hard real success comes through, working daily. Even though you don't see the solution right away, you have to keep going and going on, and you have to look forward, not pursuing instant gratification, but long-term results. I think that is what we should pursue upon. And I also believe that in terms of social media, the misinformations and all, the informations that has been splashed across, I think we should first, go in depth and know the source and learn where it comes from. And from that, we can judge it, if it's true or not, and then we can have our own opinion. So I really believe that we should educate ourselves more, and we should go in depth and not, perceive something on a surface level.
I think that's very beautifully said, because it's very important for us to work hard towards our success rather than taking shortcuts, because shortcut might take us to a success that will last a short time, but for actual and real success to last, it's important that we work towards it without any shortcuts.
Definitely.
And now that you have Miss Universe Mizoram, and hopefully if you win the Miss Universe India competition, you'll be representing our country internationally. So how do you think you would handle the pressure of representing such a diverse country on such a big international platform?
Well, that's a very good question. um, well, first of all, I believe on the quote, you cannot pour from an empty cup. So first, I would give myself time to retrospect myself and work on my weakness and strengthen the good qualities that I have. And then I would always remind myself that this is not just about me. I will be representing the millions of people living in India. And with that, keeping that in mind, I will have the strength and the courage to go on and face whatever comes my way with grace and, elegance.
How? Represent a country with grace and elegance as well as diversity, especially when it comes to a country like ours.
Yes.
And what about your wardrobe for the national pageant? Like, how are you planning it? What are you planning to showcase through your wardrobe at the pageant?
Um, well, I plan to do a little bit of sexy and then elegant, and it will be a mixture of a lot of things, because I want to show the universe that I have different, you know I have different aspects in me, and that I could be, whatever this role requires me to be. And I will showcase that by bringing different styles and fashion. And well, you'll be very shocked.
I'm so excited to see what you end up wearing. I'm really excited to see your wardrobe. You've made it sound fantastic.
Mm.
And who would your favorite Glamour winner be?
Well, I have a lot of favorites, but the only Glaminant winner that I've met is Arshina Sumbul. She came for the state audition. So I've met her, and she's a really sweet person. She's so humble, she's so kind, and she's so nice to talk to. But what really makes me like her is when she said her last speech at Miss Grand India this year. She talks about, when she first auditioned at Miss at the Glaminant, she have only one thing on her mind, that is the crown, and a pure passion for pageantry. And when she said that, I was like, I connect to her, I feel her, because that is also my story. So I find myself in her words, and yeah, she has been truly an inspiration for me.
We love you, Arshina. She's my favorite too. And if you win this crown, what would be the first thing that you would do?
the first thing that I would do is I would thank God and I would thank all those who have supported me so far for my Miss Universe India journey. They put their time, their energy, their everything so that I could, do well at a national level. So all that I really want is to make them proud, and I would thank them, and then right away I will prepare myself for the Miss Universe competition.
That's heartwarming. That truly is. I think that's so sweet. That's so sweet. Family and support and God, in fact, your faith in God. I think that comes up. And
Yes.
not the least, how much is the Miss Universe India crown worth to you, and why do you want to win it?
Winning Miss Universe India crown would mean that my advocacy, the plight that the displaced people are, going through right now, will have a wider audience and impact. So yes, that would be one thing, and then it would mean that I will be able to represent my country, and that is something that you know I really look forward to, and I really, since long ago I dream about it, so that would mean a dream come true. And yeah, I would also like to show the world, that the universe, that in India is a diverse country, and I would love to show the universe that the diversity and the unity that is in happening in India, that is the that is happening in India. I hope that I could bring that to the international platform, and yeah, and so that is it.
So that's different. I'm just after talking to you, after interacting with you, I'm so excited to see you go on stage because you're such a pure soul, and I'm really excited to see how you perform. So best of
Thank
luck to
you.
you.
Thank you.
Rapid fire round. Will you
Okay.
just end the live? Ready?
Yes. Mm.
Okay. Shoes or shoes?
Shoots.
Ah, fashion girl, but you're choosing shoes. Round or evening round?
Evening gown.
Elegant. Extrovert or introvert?
Extrovert.
Great. Morning workouts or evening yoga?
Morning workouts, because that's when I mostly work out.
Books or movies? Which ones do you prefer?
Books, 1,000 times over.
Makeup or without makeup?
Without makeup,
Okay,
because I
that's fair.
love showing natural beauty.
I, I agree with you. If I would be given a chance, I would always choose a no makeup look over a makeup look. Talent round or the Q&A round?
Definitely Q&A.
Runway walk or a red carpet pose? Which one would you prefer?
Runway walk.
And a photo shoot or a ramp walk? Which one do you like more?
Well, that's very hard to choose. I would choose for the shoots.
And the beach or the hills?
Heels. Because it reminds me of my state.
Ah, so sweet. Thank you so much, Miss Universe Mizoram, for joining us on this live. I think you've given us a great insight on your pageant preparation, you are as a person, and I'm so glad that I got to know and interact with you today. And best of luck for the competition. May the odds be in your favor.
Thank you so much. I'm so grateful for tonight. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Goodbye.
Thank you, everyone. Definitely. And I hope everyone has a good night. Bye bye.